जय सुभद्रा, जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह, जय जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह, लक्ष्मी नरसिंह, जय जय लक्ष्मी नरसिंह, जय गौरानिताय, 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 जय गौरानिताय, निताय गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, जय जय प्रभुपाद, 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 श्री प्रभुपाद। ओम अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादान् सहगणललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय तदे श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती नामिने। श्रीवासवानवी देवी दैताय कृपाब्दये कृष्ण संबंध विज्ञान दायिने प्रभवे नमः। माधुरी जल प्रेमालय श्री रूपानुगभक्तिदर्शी गौर करुणा शक्ति विग्रहाय नमोस्तुते। नमस्ते गौरवाणी श्री मूर्ति दीनतारिणे रूपानुग विरुद्धाप सिद्धांत त्वान्तहारिणे। नमो गौर किशोराय साक्षात् वैराग्य मूर्तये विप्लम्बर सांभोधे पादाम्बुजाय ते नमः। नमो भक्ति विनोदाय सच्चिदानंदनामिने गौरशक्ति स्वरूपाय रूपानुगवराय ते। गौराविर्भाव भूमेस्त्वं निर्देष्टा सज्जना प्रिय वैष्णव सार्वभौम श्री जगन्नाथाय ते नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपः स्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यां नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत श्रीराधाकांत नमोस्तुते। जयतां सुरतो पंगुर्मं वन्देर्मतेर्गतिमत्सदाम्भोजो श्रीराधा मदन मोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यं कल्पाद्रुमादः श्रीमद्रत्नागार सिंहासनस्थौ श्रीमद्राधा श्रीरगोविन्ददेवो प्रेष्ठालिभि सेव्यमानो स्मरामि। श्रीमान् राससारं जीवं श्रीवटतटस्थितः कर्षन् वेणुस्वनैर्गोपीर्गोपीनाथ श्रीस्तुनाथ कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So you all are happy with your marks?
Yes, Mataji.
See, what is expected from Bhakti Shastri students? More quotations of the verses. That is what is expected. Should learn to memorize the verses, quote the verses, like Mahatma. Many of you gave right answer, but I gave some more marks to Krishna Mataji. Why? Because she quoted the verse, Mahatmanastu Mam Partha Devim Prakriti Mashta. She could have quoted that also, but she at least quoted Bahunam Janmanamante Gyanvan Manpapate Vasudeva Sarvamati Mahatma Sudurlabha. So naturally you're Shastri now. You know what is Shastri? You're highly educated. So from a Shastric student, you cannot expect just English answers. That is there, okay, that is just a translation. You should know the verses. Like you have Chatur Shloki Bhagavad Gita. Quote Tesham Satatittanam Bhajatam. Write na Tesham Satatittanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam. Write all the verses, all the 4 verses. Memorize the verses. See, you are given the book schedule is there. You know those questions are there from that question bank. When you are going to prepare it, right? Suppose you are not able to by heart the verse. At least you should write 1-2 lines. Bayunam dash dash dash. Teachers can fill it up. At least they know that you know the verses. Suppose you cannot by heart the words, okay, no problem. But at least you know what are those verses. That is expected. You are not able to memorize whole thing. At least write something. Bahunam Jalmanam. At least you know there it is there. You can quote from there. Because a Shastric student tomorrow is going to become a very good preacher, and maybe you are all preaching in the now you are all currently preaching also. So what is expected in the preaching movement? You quote the verses. One is you speak the verses. You are speaking the translation, purport, everything. But if you're not giving quotations now, you're not categorized as a high-class preacher. High-class preachers are those who quote from the Shastras. At least if they don't know, they should know where it is. They can open the book. Not that all the verses are memorized for everyone. I don't know all the 700 verses. But at least if I have to speak, I should know where it is. Few verses, where it is. Like Rajas, Tamas, and Sato, what are their natures? I should know where it is. Even if I know where it is, suppose the question is asked, what is the nature of a Satoguna? You should know how it starts from Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvat. You should know this. So try to memorize like this, at least 2-3 words from there. So what happens is, in future, whenever you're speaking to somebody, you know there is a Shastric evidence. You are not speaking from your own mind. What type of food a Satoguna person has. You may explain hundreds and thousands. Other person should listen to you now. They will not accept what you are saying, but they have to accept what Krishna says. And you should say that I am not speaking anything from my mind. I am speaking from whatever Krishna has given. If Krishna would have given Satoguna people eat this and this, I would have expressed okay. So it is not I who should speak, it is what is given the Shastra that should be spoken. So in the third unit, prepare yourself in such a way that you have some Shastric evidence. Many of you have not given Shastric evidence at all. My mind was not thinking of even giving 48, 47, 46. You all have prepared immediately. Or I would have not given anyone more than 35 marks, except for Krishna Priya Mataji, because she was giving Shastric evidences. None of you have written Shastric evidences. Maybe one or two people must have written, but I did not find any paper. I want Shastric evidences. And that is what a Bhakti Shastri student should be. I don't know how much Madhusudan Prabhu would have told you, but at least this is expected. When we did our Bhakti Shastri, our teacher wanted Shastric evidences to be presented, or we will not be getting more than even 30 marks. So that was the standard. So let the standard be always maintained. So this time I gave, but understand in the third unit paper, I will not be giving more than 35 marks, even if your answer is 100% right. If there is no Shastric evidence, the highest mark will be 35. If there is a Shastric evidence, then from 35 it will start. So prepare yourself with important verses of every chapter. You know the question bank is there. It belongs to which? Prepare yourself in such a way. Shastric evidences that will help you. I may sound very rude, but that will help you in future when you are preaching, when you are talking to someone. You present yourself very knowledgeable. Actually, people like to accept knowledgeable people, isn't it? Okay. Fifth verse. Sattvam rajastama iti guna. Sattvam rajastama iti. Sattvam rajastama iti guna prakriti sambhavaha. Nibhatnanti mahabahu dehe dehinam avyayam. So Sattvam, Raja and Tamas. These are the 3 gunas in the Prakriti. Sattvam, Rajas, Tama. Iti guna, Prakriti sambhavaha. So Prakriti is qualities. These are the 3 qualities which are there in Prakriti, or which is produced from Prakriti, sambhavaha. Nibadhananti mahabahu. What is their work? To bind a person. Just see, even Sato also binds a person. We say, no, you should be in Sato Guna, Sato Guna. Be good, be good. That is what we teach our children. No, you should always be good. No parent teach a child, be bad. Actually, better is to be bad because nobody expects you to be the worst. But if you are good, people expect that you should be better, best, isn't it? If you get 45 marks, then naturally your parents say you should get 46, 47 marks, 50 marks out of 50. But nobody says if you get 30 marks, nobody will say you should get 25 marks, 20 marks. That means expectation is there from Satoguna person. But nobody expects anything from Rajas and Tamas. So wherever expectations are there, that binds. So better is be bad, isn't it? Nobody expects anything from you. But that by bad also binds us. Good also binds us. Nibadnanti Mahabahu. Dehe Dehinam Abhyam. Dehe Dehinam Abhyam. In this way, Abhyam. Now this Dehi is Abhyam, imperishable, eternal. But what happened? This Dehi, though eternal, is bound in this material body, which is temporary. Okay. Anupama, read. Unmute yourself, Anupama.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Yeah. This is 33 verse, right?
14.5. 14th chapter, ma'am.
Sorry,
Which
Mataji.
world?
I'm on a wrong.
Eternal world. In the eternal world.
Can I read later? I have to change the whole.
Okay. Vandana Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dharmas Pranam. Sattvam rajastam iti gunaha prakriti sambhavah nibhaddante mahabaho dehinam avyayam. Material nature consists of three modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the eternal living entity comes in contact with nature, O mighty armed Arjuna, he becomes conditioned by these modes. Purport: the living entity, because he is transcendental, has nothing to do with his material nature. Still, because he has become conditioned by the material world, he is acting under the spell of the three modes of material nature. Because living entities have different kinds of bodies, in terms of different aspects of nature, they are induced to act accordingly to the nature. This is the cause of varieties of happiness and distress. Hare Krishna.
Now the nature of every guna is given. Actually, primarily nobody is in particular single guna. It is a combination, permutation combination of three gunas. In that permutation combination, if Sato is higher, generally you call that person as a that he is in the mode of goodness. Suppose passion is more, he is categorized as a passionate person. If ignorance is more, is categorized as an ignorant person. Like you have the categories of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. Brahmanas are predominantly in the mode of goodness. Other gunas are also there, but predominantly they are in the mode of goodness. Goodness is more, other gunas are negligible. Sato, now Kshatriyas. Kshatrayatehe Kshatriya. You have studied this. Second chapter. Kshatrayate Kshatriya. How many of you remember? Kshatrayate Kshatriya. One who protects others from harm. So naturally, he should have the passion accompanied by goodness. Passion, and that passion is driven by goodness. Then he is a Kshatriya. Now, if you compare Hitler and if you compare Shivaji Maharaj, a very good, nice Kshatriya, you will not call a Hitler as a Kshatriya. You will not call Duryodhana as a Kshatriya. You will not call Ravana as a Kshatriya. But they are driven by ignorance. On the contrary, what Krishna wants to establish, that Kshatriya who is driven by goodness, and that is dharma, to protect others. That is a dharma. That is why Arjuna is induced by Krishna to fight and establish dharma. Because only in Satoguna you can gather or assemble knowledge. Sattvam sanjayate jnanam. Sattvam sanjayate jnanam. Write this phrase and keep. Sattvam sanjayate jnanam. If you are asked to speak about the 4 regulative principles, in that meat eating and all those things are there. Then the question may come, why onion garlic should not be taken? Why tobacco should not be taken? It is there in the nature only, now provided by the nature only. But if we want to assemble knowledge, then we have to have satoguna ahar only. Or tamas ahar is also there. Rajas ahar is also there. Take it. That means for satoguna, the ahara, their nature, and all is given. The type of nature. Why? Because he has to assemble the knowledge. Sattvam sanjayate jnanam. So Kshatriya, who is driven by Satoguna, only he can establish dharma. What about Vaishya? Vaishya has passion, but that passion is driven by ignorance. That is why he always says, "मैं कुछ कमाता ही नहीं, profit ही नहीं, सब loss, everything is loss." He's fooling us. He's fooling himself also. By talking lies, actually we fool ourselves more than we fool others. And then what about Shudras? They are predominantly in the mode of ignorance. Negligible goodness and negligible passion you'll find. Negligible, hardly you can say. So in this way, these 4 categories are there. Now, what is the nature of a Satoguna person? Tatra sattam nirmalatva prakashakam manamayam sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena chanagha. So this verse has to be learned, memorize. Suppose you are not able to memorize, tatra sattvam nirmalatva, at least understand this much. Tatra sattvam nirmalatva, where it is 14.6. Tatra sattvam nirmalatva. How is his nature? Nirmala. Nirmala means no mala. That means andar bahar he is same. Sometimes when we were studying about how is Arjuna a diplomat, how is Duryodhana a diplomatic person, one of the feature is what? One of the characteristic you can say, a diplomatic person from inside and outside are different. His body language, his thought process, his actions, everything is different. But this person is nirmalatva, very, very clear, nirmal, no sins, very pure. Nirmalatva, prakashakam. He is always seeking knowledge. He wants to learn, prakashakam, illuminating, prakashakam. If you are with him, you can see that how nicely he speaks. He's an illuminating person. He gives knowledge to others also. Anamayam, he is sinless. So sins are at the level of your thoughts, at the level of your words, at the level of your actions. This person is very pure. Anamayam, sinless person. Sukha sangena, that is why he's experiencing sukha. Sukha is you gather more positive energy. Naturally, you experience sukha. The more positive. What is it more positive? You speak good. You are in time. Everything is in time. Simple living, high thinking. That is all the way to be successful. Always satisfied, not having a competitive nature, always having the satisfaction. That is a simple living. Simple living, high thinking. So even that also, sukha sangena, because he's experiencing sukha, he wants it always. He goes to Lord, Banaye rakho Bhagwan, Banaye rakho. Why? Because he loves to be in sukha. And he is now like used to that sukha. He doesn't want to give it up. So but that thing is also binding a person, badhanati. Though he may get an upper planetary system and all those things, but he's experiencing sukha and he wants to be in sukha. That is why this badhanati, even this sukha also binds a person. Jnana sangena chanaka. So this is also It is also binding, and he is also conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. Even that knowledge is also binding a person. So now, what type of knowledge? Now, what type of knowledge a person is bound? We are not talking about the spiritual knowledge. Spiritual knowledge, anyhow, crosses a person from the birth and death cycle. But here, which knowledge has been spoken? The speculative knowledge, and the knowledge about understanding I'm not the body, I'm soul. Okay, till that only. It is not having that knowledge that I'm servant of Krishna. Still, the Satoguna, we are talking about the gunas of this Prakriti. For a devotee who is surrendered to Krishna, he is beyond the three modes of material nature. We are not talking about anything now. Krishna is only talking about the Satoguna, which is found in this material world, the good people, a person who is in the mode of goodness. We're only talking about those people who are in the mode of goodness. They're very kind people. They'll be very generous people. They'll be helping others. They'll do everything in proper time. If you see, you can match your watch with their schedules. They're so disciplined. The 7 o'clock means they will be seen outside when they go into office or whatever it is. They are so perfect in their way of life. They like to talk very peacefully. They're always giving time to the people. When they talk, they're so pleasing. There are families who are like that. When they eat, they sit together and eat. They give nice time to their family members. They're very good people. But that goodness, Krishna says, that is also binding. Okay. So Anupama, can you read? Tatra
Yes,
sattam
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
nirmalatvat. Read.
Mhm. Tatra Tatra Sattvam Nirmalavat Prakashavam Ananmayam
Anamayam.
Anamayam
Sukha
Sukhasanghena
samkhena patanati.
Badnati Jnanasanghena Chalagha. Translation: O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than the others, is illuminating and it frees one from all sinful reaction. Those situated in that mode become conditioned by a sense of happiness and knowledge. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada is there. The living entities conditioned by material nature are of various types. One is happy, another is very active, and another is helpless. All these types of psychological manifestations are cause of the entity's condition, status in nature. How they are differently conditioned is explained in this section of Bhagavad Gita. The mode of goodness is first considered. The effect of developing the mode of goodness in the material world is that one becomes wiser than those over otherwise conditioned. A man in the mode of goodness is not so much affected by material miseries, and he has a sense of advancement in material knowledge. The representative type is the Brahmana, who is supposed to be situated in the mode of goodness. This sense of happiness is due to understanding that in the mode of goodness one is more or less free from sinful reactions. Actually, in the Vedic literature, it is said that the mode of goodness means greater knowledge and greater sense of happiness. The difficulty here is that when a living entity is situated in the mode of goodness, he becomes conditioned to feel that he is advanced in knowledge and is better than others. In this way, he becomes conditioned. The best examples are the scientist and the philosopher. Each is very proud of his knowledge, and because they generally improve their living conditions, they feel a sort of material happiness. This sense of advanced happiness in conditioned life make them bound by the mode of goodness of material nature. As such, they are attracted towards working in the mode of goodness, and as long as they have an attraction for working in that way, they have to take some type of body in the mode of nature. Thus, there is no likelihood of liberation or of being transferred to the spiritual world. Repeatedly, one may become a philosopher, a scientist, or a poet, and repeatedly become entangled in the same disadvantage of birth and death. But due to illusion of the material energy, one thinks that sort of life is pleasant. Hare Krishna.
Now, if a person is not taking shelter of Krishna, anyone who is experiencing happiness will be bound by that happiness and knowledge. Prabhupada generally quotes philosophers, scientists. In this way, Prabhupada quotes. But this pride can come to anybody. If he feels that happiness is, he's experiencing happiness, he's earning very nicely, it can come. Till he is not taking shelter of Krishna, all these thought process will be there. The moment he takes shelter of Krishna, then even though he's a scientist, even though he's a philosopher, he's using his knowledge in Krishna's service. Rajoragatmakam vidhi Krishna sangha samudbhavam tannibadnati kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. Rajoragatmakam vidhi Krishna sangam samudbhavam tannibadnati kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. So, what is the nature of rajas? Generally, what is the nature of rajas? Money is honey. Money is honey. And for that, he will do anything. Now, Satoguna person, simple living, high thinking. This money is honey. That means what? For earning money, he can do any amount of hard work. Why he wants money? Because ragatmakam, rajaha ragatmakam vidhi Krishna sangha samudbhavam. So many desires he has, multiple desires. If one desire is over, he wants another thing. That means he has multiple desires. And because he has multiple desires, naturally what he has to do? He has to work very hard. He has to work very hard. Nibadhananti, that is how he is bound. Karma sangena dehinam. So karma sangena dehinam. This living entity, though eternal, but bound in this material world just because he is associated with fruitive activity. Multiple desires, naturally he has to work very hard. You see, people work so hard. They want one bungalow, two bungalows, three bungalows, one car, two cars, three cars. You just go on, go on. And ultimately, who is enjoying? The pets in their house, the maids in their house, they are enjoying their fruits. And this person, like a donkey, goes on working. We have a family who have an Innova car for their pet. They have 10 cars. The husband works like anything. He's a builder. And they have a special bungalow for the dog. Just imagine. A special servant for the dog. Every month he spends at least 1 lakh behind that dog. And to earn that 1 lakh, how much hard work he is doing. So this is the nature of a passionate person. They like to do the show offers. Nowadays, the big malls have been opened. You have pet showrooms. So many things are there. So this is the nature of a passionate person. Show off tendency. Money is honey. Show off tendency. Okay. Krishna Priya Mataji, read.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. And first of all, I want to say thank you for your encouraging words. Thank you so much for that. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi tushna sanga samudbhavam tannibhadnani kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. Tannibhadnati kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. Translation: the mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings, O son of Kunti, and because of this, the embodied living entity is bound to material fruitive active actions. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The mode of passion is categorized by the attraction between man and woman. Man has attraction for woman has attraction for man, and man has attraction for woman. This is called the mode of passion. And when the mode of passion is increased, one develops the hankering for material enjoyment. He wants to enjoy sense gratification. For sense gratification, a man in the mode of passion wants some honor in society or in the nation, and he wants to have a happy family with nice children, wife, and house. These are the products of mode of passion. As long as one is hankering after these things, he has to work very hard. Therefore, it is clearly stated here that he becomes associated with the fruits of his activities and thus becomes bound by such activities. In order to please his wife, children, society, and to keep his prestige, one has to work. Therefore, the whole material world is more or less in the mode of passion. Modern civilization is considered to be advanced in the standard of the mode of passion. Firmly, the advanced condition was considered to be in the mode of goodness. If there is no liberation for those in the mode of goodness, what to speak of those who are entangled in the mode of passion? Hare Krishna.
Okay. So if there is no liberation for those in the mode of goodness, then there is a question of having liberation in the mode of passion. So here it is said that he is bound. He likes to please his wife, children, society, keep up his prestige. That is why he works very hard. Name and fame, that is his driving force. He loves to have name, fame. He does anything. He wants to be appreciated, isn't it? He doesn't surrender to Krishna. He doesn't utilize his activities in Krishna's service. All the fruits he just keeps for himself. And he likes to please his family members with the fruits of his activity. So here we said the whole world, material world, is more or less in the mode of passion. Srila Prabhupada in one place says 90% of the people are in the mode of passion. They're driven by the mode of passion. Okay. Thus, Tamastvajnanajam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिः तन्निबध्नाति भारत तमस्त्वज्ञानजं विद्धि मोहनं सर्वदेहिनां प्रमादालस्य निद्राभिः तन्निबध्नाति भारत. At least passionate person works. The moral of ignorant person or a person in the mode of ignorance. We cannot say ignorant person. Ignorant can be mode of goodness also. Mode of goodness person is also ignorant of his eternal position. Mode of passion is also ignorant of his constitutional position. This is mode of ignorance what we are speaking. So mode of ignorance, he doesn't want to work. Beg, borrow, steal. That is his moral of his life. Either beg or borrow or steal. So he doesn't like to work. When Srila Prabhupada went to West, the people whom he met, they were actually in mode of ignorance. Once somebody asked, you want to know about Prabhupada? The answer was, if you want to know about Prabhupada, then you should know who are the hippies, who were the hippies. Once in a year, they used to take bath. That was the kind of people Srila Prabhupada met. And let's just see, Prabhupada not only made them cross even the mode of goodness, he illuminated them with all knowledge. There is a power of an acharya. So when we say he's ignorant, then immediately don't think that he's in the mode of ignorance. Ignorant means He is not knowing his position. That person can be in the mode of goodness also. That is why Dagni Badanati is also bound. Only a person who is surrendered to Krishna is in knowledge. Now here, Tasmat Tamastva Agyana Jambiti is Agyani Purusha. He is Agyani. He is born of ignorance, Agyana. And Mohanam Sarvadehina. He is in delusion. There is illusion, there is delusion. Now, goodness is also an illusion only. Passion person also is an illusion, but this person is in delusion. Delusion means deeper ignorance, or you can say deeper illusion, delusion. Sarvadehina. So this living entity who is bound in this body, he is in deeper ignorance. Pramada alasya. So what is his nature? Pramada. He is mad. Alasya. He is very lazy. Nidra. He always likes to sleep. Tanni badhnati bharata. Because of these three things, alasya, nidra, and sleep, alasya, nidra, and pramada, he is bound. Like knowledge and happiness binds a person who is in the mode of goodness. Then fruitive activities, they bind a person in the mode of passion. Then here what is binding this person? Nidra, alasya, and pramada. He likes to sleep, he's lazy, he's a mad person. So in this way, these are his nature. So at least some hope is there with passionate person. There is no hope with a person in the mode of ignorance until unless great acharyas like Srila Prabhupada show our mercy. Or it is very difficult for a person to come out of this nitra, alasya, pramada, alasya, nitra. Very difficult. Okay, Daya Sagar Prabhu, please read.
Hare Krishna. Tamastvagyanam vidi mohanam sarvadehinam pramadalasya nidrahis tan nikvadna vikarata. O son of Bharata, know that the mode of darkness born of ignorance is the illusion of all embodied living entities. The result of this mode are madness, indolence, and sleep, which bind the conditioned. This verse purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. In this verse, the specific application of the word to is very strong. This means that the mode of ignorance is a very peculiar qualification of the embodied. The mode of ignorance is just the opposite of the mode of goodness. In the mode of goodness, by development of knowledge, one can understand what is what, but the mode of ignorance is just the opposite. Everyone under the spell of the mode of ignorance becomes mad, and a madman cannot understand what is what. Instead of making advancement, one becomes degraded. The definition of mode of ignorance is stated in Vedic literature. Vastu yatvad
Jnana varakam viparyaya jnana jnanam tamaha.
tamaha. Under the spell of ignorance, one cannot understand things
As it is.
For example, everyone can sleep. His grandfather just died, and therefore he will also die. Man is mortal. The children that he conceives will also die. so very true. Still, people are merely accumulating and working very hard all day and night, not caring for the environment. This is madness. In their madness, they are very reluctant to make advancement in spiritual understanding. Such people are very lazy. When they are invited to associate for spiritual understanding, they are not much interested. They are not even active like the man who is controlled by the mode of passion. Thus, another symptoms of an embodied mode of ignorance is that he sleeps more than is required. 6 hours of sleep is sufficient, but a man in the mode of ignorance sleeps at least 10 or 12 hours a day. Such a man appears to be always dejected and is addicted to intoxication and sleeping. Uh, these, uh, these are the symptoms of a person conditioned by the mode of ignorance. Hare Krishna.
So here very clearly it is said, pramada, the tendency, Baldev Devabhushan says, pramada means careless tendency to perform actions, what should not be done, what should not be done, careless tendency. And then here, lack of enthusiasm in performing the actions, sleep. Sleep is actually a faintness of consciousness. Srila Prabhupada says 6 hours sleep is enough, but people have a tendency to sleep more. Why? Their sleep is not complete. That's why it is said, sleep early. Whatever you sleep before 12 hours is counted as 2 hours rest. Like if you sleep by 10 o'clock, suppose 9:30, 10 o'clock, then by 12 o'clock you have actually taken a 4 hours rest. After that, you will have to just sleep for another 4 hours, then just ample sleep. That is why a person who sleeps early, he can wake up by 4:30. Morning hours are the best hours to accumulate the knowledge. Because the nature itself is predominant with Sattva. And in the daytime, a lot of rajas is there. People have a tendency to go to bed by 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock, then they go on sleeping. They are still not fresh, they're always tired. So a person in the mode of ignorance, they go on sleeping. Still they don't have freshness. They are like mad person. A mad person doesn't listen to anyone. A mad person is one who does whatever he wants. He uses his time in the way he wants. That is why he's called a mad person. And Nidra, always sleeping. Lazy, he's not very active in any work. He's not very active. I have to speak about the spiritual activities. He can never take it up. So that is why he is very lazy person. So 3 modes have been spoken. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati raja karmani bharata jnanam avyatu tamah pramade sanjayatyuta sattvam sukhe sanjayati raja karmani bharata jnanam tamah pramade sanjayatyuta. Sattvam sukhe. So he's experiencing sukha. Sanjayati, but that binds. Raja karmani bharata. For this, what is binding him? The fruit is binding him. Jnanam avrutyatu tamah. This ignorant person, or you can say a person in the mode of ignorance, his knowledge is covered. That is why he is mad, and this madness binds him. He is a mad person. Because he's a mad person. He's always in nidra, always wants to sleep. He's a lazy person, lazy boy. Because you can see this in certain children also, who have a lot of Tamas, they sleep so much. They don't want to do any activity. They just sleep. And when they grow also, they have this nature. And there are children who are very smart from the early days. You can see that they have a lot of goodness. They immediately grasp the knowledge. They do their activity in a proper time. They are very particular. They are very disciplined. So you can see right from the beginning this nature. Not that all the children behave in the same particular way, the same way. Not that all the elders behave in the same particular way. Why? Because the three modes of nature bind them in different ways of activities, and they bind them in this lifetime and multiple lifetimes also. Passionate person, he is always in anxiety. He has multiple desires. He always wants to go on changing things. He's never satisfied. There are certain people, they go on changing their mobiles. For no reason, they will go on changing their mobiles. If they see some new ad, immediately they want it. And they work hard to get it also. I want, I will get it. How will get it? By working hard. So wanting, getting, and working hard. This is only their life goes in this. They always, their choice is also different. Now a person in Satoguna, he will like to read the scriptures. A person in the passionate, he will at least try to do something to earn money. A person who is a lazy bone, he will not do anything, he will just stare and sit. And there is a person who is a lazy person. He is never active. He is never active in his spiritual life. What to speak of the material life? He can never be active in his spiritual life also. And a passionate person, he will work so hard, that is ultimately too tired. And a goodness person knows how to balance everything. He knows to balance. He knows to. A good person also goes to work, isn't it? A mode of goodness also knows to work. He knows how to balance his life with his family members, his work schedule. But now all the three binds. Then what is the use of being good also? At least nobody will say anything to a person who is in ignorance. Nobody will expect anything. But what is the use of being good? That is also binding. Here very clearly it is said. This also binds. Sanjayati. This also binds. Okay, Manojha, you have a lot of shows. Okay, Janardhan Prabhu.
कृष्ण माताजी सत्वं सुखे संजयति रजकर्मणि भारत ज्ञानमावृत्य तु तम प्रमादे संजयत्युत. O son of Bharata, the mode of goodness conditions one to happiness, passion conditions one to productive action, ignorance covering one's knowledge binds one to madness. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. A person in the mode of goodness is satisfied by his work or intellectual pursuit, just as a philosopher, scientist, or educator may be engaged in a particular field of knowledge and may be satisfied in that way. A man in the mode of passion may be engaged in fruity activity. He owns as much he can and spends for good causes. Sometimes he tries to open hospitals, give to charity to institutions, etc. These are signs of one of the mode of passion. And the mode of ignorance covers knowledge. In the mode of ignorance, whatever one does is good neither for him nor for anyone. Hare Krishna.
रजस्तमश्चाभिभूय रजस्तमश्चाभिभूय सत्वं भवति भारत रजसत्वं तमश्चैव तमसत्वं रजस्तथा रजस्तमश्चाभिभूय सत्वं भवति भारत रजसत्वं तमश्चैव tamasatvam rajastatha. So sometimes rajas tama cha abhibhuya, mode of goodness, when they become prominent, bhavati, they become prominent, then what happens? It surpasses or defeats. Abhibhuya means defeats mode of passion and mode of ignorance. That means permutation combination is there. Somebody is having mode of goodness, mode of goodness, and he can defeat these two modes. Rajas, Sattvam, Tamaha. So if Rajas is more, then it defeats goodness and ignorance. If Tamas is more, then it will defeat goodness and passion. In this way, what is happening? There is always competition for supremacy. So sometimes more of goodness is there, sometimes more of passion is there, sometimes more of ignorance is there. It may change also. It may change. So it is said, it is here, Srila Prabhupada writes, therefore one who is actually intent of advancing in Krishna consciousness has to transcend these modes. Person in the mode of goodness, naturally his goodness has defeated both. Person in the mode of passion has defeated both. That is goodness and ignorance. Person who is in the mode of ignorance, he has defeated both the modes. But what is the use of defeating all these? One has to defeat all the three modes. One has to defeat all the three modes, for which the only solution is taking shelter of Krishna. Taking shelter of the spiritual master, in this way become Krishna conscious. Okay. Sudha Mataji. Sudha, unmute yourself. Unmute.
Okay, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandvat Pranam. रजस्तमशा विभूय सत्वं भवति भारत रजः सत्वं तमश्चैव तमः सत्वं रजस्तथा. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the modes of passion and ignorance. O son of Bharata, sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there is always competition for supremacy. When the mode of purport by Sri Prabhupada ki jai. When the mode of passion is prominent, the modes of goodness and ignorance are defeated. When the mode of goodness is prominent, passion and ignorance are defeated. And when the mode of ignorance is prominent, passion and goodness are defeated. This competition is always going on. Therefore, one who is actually intent on advancing in Krishna consciousness has to transcend these three modes. The prominence of some certain mode of nature is manifested in one's dealings, in his activities, in eating, etc. All this will be explained in later chapters. But if one wants, he can develop by practice the mode of goodness and thus defeat the modes of ignorance and passion. One can similarly develop the mode of passion and defeat goodness and ignorance. Or one can develop the mode of ignorance and defeat goodness and passion. Although there are these three modes of material nature, if one is determined, he can be blessed by the mode of goodness, and by transcending the mode of goodness, he can be situated in pure goodness, which is called the Vasudeva state, a state in which one can understand the science of God. By the manifestation of particular activities, it can be understood in what mode of nature one is situated.
Vasudeva.
Vasudeva.
It's not Vasudeva. Vasudeva. Vishuddha Sattvam Vasudeva Shaktita. Vishuddha Sattvam. Vasudeva Tattva. Okay. So here it is very clearly said that, see, what is this mode of goodness and all these things? It's all because of the previous life impressions. Whatever karmas we have to do, accordingly, such type of modes we get. So according to our previous karmas, we get particular reactions. And that particular reactions make us perform a particular activity. And when we have to perform that activity, these modes, they come in picture. Without the modes, no activity can be performed. So your previous life impressions are making you perform a good activity. Naturally, your goodness is predominant. Your previous life karmas are making you perform passionate activity, then your rajas will be more. Previous life karmas, you have done such a thing that you are in the mode of ignorance, you're born in the mode of ignorance, then naturally ignorance will be more. Other gunas will be defeated. सर्वद्वारेषु देहेऽस्मिन् प्रकाश उपजायते ज्ञानं यदा तदा विद्यात् विवृद्धं सत्त्वम् इत्युत सर्वद्वारेषु देहेऽस्मिन् प्रकाश उपजायते ज्ञानं यदा तदा विद्यात् विवृद्धं सत्त्वम् इत्युत विवृद्धं Vidyad vivruddham sattam ityuta. So what is the manifestation of the mode of goodness? Sarvadvareshu dehasmin. So 9 gates are there, 9 dwara. So these gates of this body, prakasha upajayate. They are experiencing, they are illuminated by knowledge. They are illuminated by knowledge. Upajayate. Jnanam. Yada tada vidyad vivruddham sattvam ityuta. So in this way, they are experiencing. Vivruddham means it is increasing. So such knowledge is only increasing. So their eyes, the nostrils, the mouth, the ears, genitals, everything. Whatever 9 gates are there, those gates are experiencing knowledge. 2 ears, 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, mouth, genitals, anus. When every gate is illuminated by the symptoms of goodness, it should be understood that one has developed mode of goodness. Okay. Jumur, read.
11 Mataji.
Jumur, 11.
सर्वे द्वारेषु देहेऽस्मिन् प्रकाश उपजायते ज्ञानं यदा तदा विद्यात् विवृद्धं सत्त्वम् इत्युत. Manifestation of the mode of goodness experience when all the gates of the body are illuminated by knowledge. Purpose. There are 9 gates in the body: 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, the mouth, the genitals, and the anus. When every gate is illuminated by the symptoms of goodness, it should be understood that one has developed the mood of goodness. In the mood of goodness, one can see things in the right position, one can hear things in the right position, and one can taste things in the right position. One becomes clean inside and outside. In every gate, there is development of the symptoms of happiness, and that is the position of goodness.
Clean inside and outside means what? Here, Srila Prabhupada speaks about genitals and anus. Because his ahara is good, everything is proper. If you have passionate ahara, naturally you suffer from priles and all these diseases. Then nowhere you'll experience any goodness. Here he is experiencing everything wonderful, everything is good. 2 eyes are experiencing good things, ears are experiencing good things, mouth is experiencing not burning, the food is not burning, you're not sweating while you're eating. So everything is experienced in a very nice way. So all the gates are actually experiencing wonderful things because it's in the mode of goodness. Lobha pravritti arambha karmanam ashmah spruha rajasyetani jayante vivruddhe bharatarshabha. Lobha pravritti arambha. Lobha pravritti arambha. Karmanam ashamah spruha rajasyetani jayante vivruddhe bharatarshabha. So here it is said, lobha pravritti arambha. The nature is greed, lobha. So much of greed is there. Pravritti arambha. And that greed is a driving force for any endeavor. Karmanam Ashamaha. He performs such an activity, uncontrollable desire, because of uncontrollable desires, spruha, Ashamaha spruha, he performs so many activities, just endeavors. Rajas etani jayanti, vivruddhe, vivruddhe. So he has this increase in the mode of passion. And what is the driving force? Great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, uncontrollable desire, hankering. These are all because of uncontrollable desire. He has to work hard. And because he has to work hard, he has a lot of attachment. Because he earns a lot, he has a lot of attachment. And his hankerings go on, they go on developing one. Okay. Hansrupi Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Lobha pravittir arambha karmanasham spraha rajaste rajasteta nijayante vivitte bhartarshava. O chief of Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptom of great attachment, fruitive activity, intense endeavor, and uncontrolled desire and hankering develop. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One, the mode of passion is never satisfied with the position he has already acquired. He hankers to increase his position. He wants to construct a residential house. He tries his best to have a palatial house, as if he would be able to reside in that house eternally. And he develops a great hankering for sense gratification. There is no end to sense gratification. He always wants to remain with his family and in his house, and to continue the process of sense gratification. There is no cessation of this. All these symptoms should be understood as characteristics of the mode of passion. Hare Krishna.
And let us see the characteristic of mode of ignorance. Aprakasho pravrittischa pramado moha eva cha tamasitani jayante vivruddhe kurunandana. Aprakasho pravrittischa pramado moha eva cha tamasitani jayante vivruddhe kurunandana. Aprakasha. So when there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, vivruddhe tamas, that time what is experienced? Darkness, aprakasha. Apravritti, he is inactive, lazy. Pramada, is a mad person. Moha, illusion. Generally, mad means his behavior cannot be understood. He is a mad person. He will talk madly, he will talk in anger. Anger is also a characteristic of passion. When that passion increases, it leads to ignorance. When more passion, when that nature goes on increasing more and more, then what happens? It leads to ignorance. The desires goes on increasing, and if it is unfulfilled, naturally it becomes mad. Not that every desire has to be fulfilled. He works hard, but not that his desires are fulfilled. He gets a setback in his life, then what happens? Naturally, he becomes a mad person. Too much of passion also makes a person mad. Then he gives up everything. He becomes inactive. And then he is in more in illusion. Okay. Vaishnava Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible?
Yes.
Aprakasho pravrittischa paramado moha eva cha tamseyatani jayante vivriddhe kurunandana. When there is an increase in the mode of ignorance, O son of Guru, darkness, inertia, madness, and illusion are manifested. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. When there is no illumination, knowledge is absent. One in the mode of ignorance does not work by regulative principle. He wants to act whimsically for no purpose. Even though he has the capacity to work, he makes no endeavor. This is called illusion. Although consciousness is going on, life is inactive. These are the symptoms of one in the mode of ignorance.
We stop here. Questions you can ask. Any questions?
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Yeah.
In the earlier verses, you mentioned that a person in mode of passion, he is always after hankering and for money and all that, live towards making money. At the same time, we have some there who are in this mode of, we don't know whether they are in this mode, but they have lot of compassion for the society towards
That's what
downtrodden
Prabhupada
people.
writes, na? Passionate person, he has compassion, he will do a lot of charity. Passionate person also do that. But again, they desire name and fame. Like one of the person went to Mayapur. He told the temple president, it's a real story. The merchant went, put all the fans. I'm going to change all the fans. I'm going to stay here for 3 days. Make it sure that at this and the first day he came, he told, tomorrow I want all the new fans. I'll donate for them. So this Bichara temple president, he removed all the fans, put all the new fans. And this person said, are these my fans? You should write my initials at please SK. Then this president wrote SK in one of the film. He said, only for one fin I donated or what? Write in all the fins. And what about the ball? Write everywhere. And the last day he comes and says, who is able to read this? Make it sure when everyone comes, keep it off and let everyone. So this happens. They will do the charity, but the driving force is what? Greed. Greed for name and fame.
No, just I want to ask you that there is an example. For example, if you see the Tatas, Ratan Tata and all that, they're spending a lot of in charity and all that. And probably, I don't know, but we will call them there after the fame. And give an example of Ratan Tata, who has so much of compassion and he is loved by a lot of people.
Not that all the rich people, see, you cannot categorize anyone like this because he is a rich man, he is donating. You cannot categorize it, he is in which mode. For that, analysis has to be done. Everybody is inspired by their modes. We don't know, it can be in a mode of goodness also. You may be an early riser. Sometimes things come to you because of your previous life also. Like Kulashekar Alva writes what to do.
Yes.
I got all this richness. He's born in a rich family. He's born with a silver spoon. Not that all rich people are in mode of passion. Not that all poor people are in mode of ignorance. And not that all the people who are born in a knowledgeable family are in mode of goodness. It depends on person to person. In what
Correct.
way he is driven.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, Prabhu, Gadi Prabhu.
Krishna Mataji, Mataji, you told this mode of goodness also binds, and you also told one has to defeat all the three modes. That means we have to defeat even mode of goodness also. And how the mode of goodness binds means what exactly it means? Binds means what?
You always hanker for being happy, na? That happiness and knowledge, one doesn't want to give it up. So that happiness and knowledge is also binding us. And how to come out of it? Just surrender to Krishna. Then that goodness is used in Krishna's service. In that goodness, illuminating tendency is there. So naturally what you can do, you can gain knowledge. So which knowledge? Bhagavad Gita studies, Bhagavatam studies, to even come to the platform of spirituality. One, for a person in mode of goodness, it becomes very easy because he's an early riser. But he doesn't know what to do. He'll do some yoga, he'll go for walking, He will plan his schedule in that way. He will go to the nature. He loves nature. In the morning, he will do some singing riyas, something like this. They are such people who wake up early in the morning. They utilize the morning hours. But just imagine the same person. You train them in Krishna consciousness. He is waking up at the same time. What is he doing? He is chanting the holy name. In this way surpasses the mode of goodness also.
Thank you, Mataji.
Yes, Vaishnav, go Prabhu.
Mataji, in one of the verses it is told that struggle between the modes is going on, and at one time one mode overcomes the other two, and like the mode of goodness overcomes the other two, and sometimes mode of passion and sometimes mode of ignorance. So what does that mean? Means
So
one thing is
struggle happens within the body itself. There is always a continuous struggle. Night. Which mode is more? Mode of ignorance is more. That time what it does, it dominates goodness and passion. That is why it goes to sleep.
So it means that the external factors are also actually acting to influence the mode of
Yes,
a particular
yes.
thing.
But when you say a person is in mode of goodness, you are just generalizing.
Okay.
Generalize. But in his body itself, 3 modes are also there.
Yes.
At that time, there is a continuous struggle. Satoguna person, he is in knowledge. That is why he sees that even his sleep is also minimized. In this way, there is a struggle going on. He doesn't want to sleep more. He will wake up. Somehow he'll struggle to wake up. He will not struggle, but he will wake up. He'll schedule his day. So is it not a struggle to keep up that goodness?
Yes.
To keep up that goodness, he's struggling. You see that there are so many old people, they will come in time, they'll walk in time, they'll do everything in time. So there is a continuous struggle to keep this goodness high. But for a Krishna conscious person, it becomes easy because the schedule is designed by Srila Prabhupada. Acharya Satya.
So that's what actually my question was. Then this is going on, and when Janardhan Prabhu has asked that question, that we have to transcend these 3 modes, and
the best way is taking shelter and working for Krishna. If you do that, slowly, food habits, that all changes.
Yes.
Food habits will change. Not that one who enters the temple immediately is washed off all the modes.
Okay, actually, that's what I wanted to ask.
Yes, the struggle is there. Even for the devotees also waking up in the early morning, there is a struggle. There are many devotees who are not able to wake up by 4:30, 5 o'clock. They have the tendency to sleep till 7 o'clock, 7:30, 8 o'clock. So it is not so easy to come out of the modes. But one thing is there. Because he has taken shelter of Krishna, Krishna's name has the power to bring him out of the modes.
Okay.
But that desire also should be there from within.
So that's what I was asking, that अगर कोई बीमार है उसकी वजह से जल्दी उठ रहा है, disturbed है, तो that cannot be considered the mode of goodness.
बीमारी भी आपका एक प्रकार का sin है.
हाँ, मतलब वही, अगर कोई डिस्टर्ब है उसकी वजह से सो ही नहीं रहा है, रात को नींद नहीं आ रही है, और फिर वो उसको यूज कर लिया अगर उसने चैंटिंग करने में.
हाँ बस, हाँ, that is the way. Suppose he is very sick, he is not able to sleep. He sits and chants. So what he has done? He has used it. Okay. Where there was reaction, that reaction now became action for Krishna.
Right, Hare Krishna.
Okay, stop here. Any more doubts?